What if I told you that a war barely anyone is talking about could reshape the future of Asia forever? Between two nations lies a sacred temple, a ridge soaked in history, and a border drawn in fire. This isn't just a territorial dispute. This isn't just about who owns which piece of ancient stone. This is a battle of identity, of pride, of survival. As we speak, fighter jets have returned to the skies. Drones are shadowing villages. Propaganda is flooding screens. And something terrifying is unfolding on a quiet corner of Southeast Asia while the world watches everything else. But what if this is the story we should be watching? Because beneath the noise, scientists have uncovered patterns. Analysts are warning of cascading collapse. And one man, a man they don't mention, predicted it all. In this video, we're not just going to explain the Thailand-Cambodia border war of 2025. We're going to uncover the truths that headlines hide. We'll go beyond the politics, beyond the propaganda, and into the pulse of a crisis that could redraw maps, shake economies, and test the strength of Asia's peace. So stay with me till the end. Because when this story unfolds, you'll see the world differently. And you realized this war isn't far away. It's at the gates of the future. Let's begin. The violence that erupted in July 2025 along the Thailand-Cambodia border represents far more than a routine flare-up rooted in decades-old animosities. It marks a stark escalation in method, intensity, and consequence, signaling a precarious shift in regional dynamics that could reverberate far beyond Southeast Asia. This confrontation, which began around the Tam Wen Tam and Preah Vihear temple areas on July 24, symbolizes both a resumption and amplification of territorial disputes that have smoldered since colonial-era maps sowed seeds of ambiguity. What makes this episode profoundly consequential is the convergence of modern warfare capabilities, including high-altitude jet strikes, drones, cyber operations, with deep-rooted historical grievances and nationalist fervor. As key developments unfolded and the situation deteriorated rapidly, what was previously a tense standoff transformed into a scenario that analysts cautioned could spiral toward an all-out conflict. In the early hours of that July day, Thai military officials reported that Cambodian troops had entered disputed territory near Tam Wen Tam. The terrain in question, a heavily forested upland ridge overlooking valleys on both sides of the border, had long been the point of greatest tension. A place where the lack of clearly demarcated lines met geography in ways that suited neither party. According to spokespersons for the Royal Thai Armed Forces, the Cambodian advance involved well-coordinated movement of infantry units, heavy weaponry, and mining efforts along ridges and supply trails. From the Thai perspective, it was a deliberate intrusion, an attempt to seize tactical positions ahead of any new ruling from international authorities. For Cambodia, it was framed as a justified reassertion of sovereignty over land, long claimed following the 2013 interpretation of the 1962 ICJ decision, a symbolic step to back diplomatic claims with boots on the ground. Once initial verbal warnings failed to deter the advancing Cambodian forces, Thai artillery units stationed within range responded, sending explosive projectiles into the forested ridges. The firing triggered a heated exchange. Rocket-propelled grenades, coils of automatic weapons fire, and counter-battery firing from Cambodian positions. Villagers in nearby communities described the sounds of combat as thunder emerging from the jungle. But unlike earlier contained skirmishes in the 2008-2001 period surrounding Preah Vihear, this battle involved technology and tactics unseen before in this border strip. Things accelerated. By midday, Thailand launched uncrewed reconnaissance drones to assess Cambodian troop fortifications and movement patterns. The drones, flying autonomous surveillance patterns, were met with collision jamming and attempted shutdowns using anti-aircraft batteries. Both electronics and kinetic warfare had entered the scene. Later that afternoon, reports emerged of Thai F-16 fighter jets crossing into low-altitude Cambodian airspace. Footage captured by regional news outlets and uploaded to social media platforms showed Thai combat aircraft tracking over ridgelines, their wire-guided bombs targeting apparent fuel depots or temporary staging areas behind Cambodian lines. In parallel, Cambodian drones, some capable of delivering small payloads, flew into Thai-held territory, dropping ordnance and forcing the evacuation of nearby border villages. Combined with artillery and drone activity, the air component elevated this from a ground skirmish to an aerial campaign. The last time Thailand had launched fighter jets near this frontier was over a decade earlier, and never with this scale of cross-border incursion and ordnance deployment. Cambodia responded with surface-to-air missile alerts near the border, while mobilizing mechanized infantry from interior troop barracks. The presence of both air and ground activity increased the risk of escalation exponentially. A misfire, a malfunction, or an accidental downing of a jet could have provoked a widening clash between the two militaries. Within 2 days, the casualties mounted. Independent investigators, including cross-border observers and NGOs, confirmed more than 40 fatalities, including 17 civilians caught in shelling near disputed sites, and several dozen wounded, among them women and children. Tens of thousands were displaced as Ministry of Interior offices in Thailand and Cambodia. This humanitarian fallout was compounded by blocked roads, disrupted supply chains, and shuttered border crossings. Tourists and traders found themselves stranded, and the broader regional economy took a hit. The sudden intensity caught ASEAN and the wider international community off guard. What was initially dismissed as milder border frictions quickly transformed into something far more menacing. What stands out about these July 2025 clashes is not only the scale, engagement across multiple contested zones, not limited to historic temple precincts, but also the efficiency and integration of modern warfare systems. Cyber attacks accompanied the kinetic strikes. Thai government websites experienced disabling denial-of-service bombardments, while select Cambodian servers reported defacements accusing Thailand of aggression. Evidence of short-term telecommunications disruption, both cellular and internet near the border, pointed to deliberate signal jamming, likely aimed at disrupting command and control during the youngest and most chaotic phase of the crisis. At the same time, pro-war propaganda emerged almost instantly on messaging platforms and microblogs in both countries, stoking public emotion and framing the clashes as existential battles for national survival. The deployment of military assets dovetailed with nationalist messaging. Bangkok's military-led government emphasized its defensive posture while urging citizens to stand ready to protect every inch of Thai soil. Phnom Penh's televised response declared that Cambodia would not bow, not now, not ever, and assured viewers that commanders were prepared to press forward without hesitation. Lines in the sand were sharpened, and for both capitals, full-scale commitment to military escalation became an instrument for domestic legitimacy. Supporters of Thai authorities held rallies calling for justice for Thai troops, while Cambodia's political leadership held mass ceremonies venerating defenders of the temple. International organizations scrambled. ASEAN convened an emergency session in Jakarta, but struggled to agree on condemnations or sanctions due to its consensus-driven structure. The U.S. State Department urged restraint and threatened diplomatic measures if the conflict escalated further. China, meanwhile, dispatched envoys to Phnom Penh urging calm and using influence over Cambodian leadership to advocate de-escalation, though Beijing also quietly flagged the economic advantages offered by closer Cambodian alignment. Vietnam watched warily, dispatching increased military alert status along its own border as a precaution. Behind closed doors, global analysts in capitals such as Washington, Beijing, and New Delhi warned that an extended conflict along the Thai-Cambodian frontier would threaten regional trade connectivity and might embolden other territorial revisionists across Asia. Or for not, they're just sitting around on the coverlet. This series of July events differs from prior confrontations in a few critical ways. First, it demonstrates how the outcome of international legal rulings, like the ICJ decisions, do not deter actual military competition when identity, history, and strategic posturing collide. The ICJ can interpret the map, but it cannot hold the line. Second, it illustrates how modern conflict is multidimensional. Ground forces now operate alongside cyberspace warriors, drone operators, and pilots within dense fogs of digital and kinetic fire. Third, the speed at which the clash escalated, from missionary tension to active airstrikes, exposed a dangerous structural problem in regional diplomacy. ASEAN, founded to resolve disputes peacefully, found itself diplomatically outrun by rapid military deployments and immediate domestic political imperatives. The June 2025 border war is thus not just a local contest, it is a test case. It shows how quickly a flashpoint, once dormant, can morph into a high-tech confrontation, dragging civilian populations into conflict, disrupting regional economies, challenging legal frameworks, and forcing global powers to choose sides or intervene. It also lays bare a stark truth. Geography and history can still define war, but in today's world, geography and speed combine. A stray missile over a temple could bring peaceful associations to their knees and threaten larger-scale hostilities if miscalculations occur or if regional alliances are triggered by nationalistic fervor. As analysis continues, many caution that unless a new political and diplomatic framework is established, one that acknowledges legal precedent, creates buffer zones, integrates technology-aware monitoring, and depoliticizes nationalistic narratives, the risk of replay is not just possible, but likely. History teaches that wars fueled by sacred symbols spread far beyond their origin, and modern tools ensure they spread faster than before. The July events were a warning, not the worst case good luck and thank you.